Coming to you outside the studio. I'm just chilling outside because the weather's so nice. So I'm trying to soak up as much of this good weather as I can. Um, and as you can see, the title of today's lesson is How Money Works. Following up, kind of a follow up to the video I did this morning on just putting out some information on good jobs that are out there for that people don't know about. So I'm following up on that that lesson I did this morning, and I'm also kind of piggybacking or lambacking, you know what I'm saying, off of Major's video, because William Majors, he did a good video today just basically talking about people got to get be wiser, and use self-discipline when it comes to money and work and all that stuff like that, and not squander anything. So just kind of following up off of kind of what he said, but I've been telling y'all that I was going to do a comprehensive series on money and investing and stuff like that. You'll find out, I'll tell y'all the basics of what I do as far as investment wise, and it's trust me, it's gonna be y'all gonna learn some heavy stuff, and just like whatever I teach, I try to just keep it real simple, you know what I'm saying, and straightforward to the point. But anyway, with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the series. I'm not gonna wait till everybody comes in, because I know a lot of people gonna a lot of people at work and stuff like that. But hold on one sec. How money works. I would call this the introduction to it. Okay, this will be the let me see how this sound is, because I see it skipping a little bit. Of this lesson, and it is going to be a series. All right, so we're good. It might be skipping. All right. Okay. Yeah, I could change it now. We'll be good. Y'all bear with me. I'm gonna fix it so it's not hanging up. Okay. So that should be better. It shouldn't hang up as much. But anyway, so the title of this is How Money Works. And most people don't know how money works. Most people think you go to work, make money, and then spend the money. Okay? And that's how people think money works. And that's how we've been brainwashed through these schools and all that stuff to believe that money works. Is like what I just said. You go to work, work for the money, and then you spend the money. And believe it or not, that is not the way it works. That is that cycle is how you work for money. Okay, all right, Sister Sabrina, definitely, yeah. Just tune in and watch it later. We don't want y'all getting fired from your jobs or nothing like that. But so what a lot of people think is that, okay, you go to work, you make the money, and then you go spend the money on food, bills, living, enjoying life. And if you want to enjoy life more, and that you need to work harder and move up at your job and make move up wherever you work at and make bigger money where you work at, or increase your education so you can make more money at your job. Okay, that's how that's how the majority of people think you make money. Okay, or the majority of people think you would get what you call rich. Okay, um, then there's another school of thought that is okay. Well, you invest. So their way of the way most investors think is they most investors think you go you buy something and it increases in value and then you cash it in. So for instance, you buy stock, okay? You pay $100 for it, and then it increases in value to $1,000. You sell it, and then boom, you're rich or whatever. So that's how a lot of people think you get you make money. That's not totally true. That's a half truth. Uh, let's go in another way. A lot of people think, hey, I start a business and I work for myself. So I do this, whatever the business might be. You know what I'm saying? Um, uh, you might sell cars or be like I was, like a mechanic. I'm gonna be a mechanic, and this I'm a fix cars, and that's how you make money. And and that's how money works. This, that, and the other. Okay. Then you got another school of thought. Let's think of another one. Another common one. Uh, I I think I pretty well. Oh, real estate investing. A lot of people are like, okay, I'm gonna buy a house. Okay, I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy a house. I'm gonna fix it up, and then I'm gonna sell it, and then boom, I'm gonna make money. And yeah, these are ways to make money. Okay, but that is not the way money really works. Okay, and now we're gonna get into the heavy stuff. The All right, y'all be careful. Y'all take it easy. My girl's out there riding bikes, so all right, y'all just be careful. So here's the heavy stuff. A lot of people work for their money, but they don't know how to make their money work for them. Okay, and this is the secret of a lot of these people you see out here. Uh, okay. Yeah, hey, shalom, brother Dermot. Hey, shalom, sister Hicks. I see you in there. Shalom, uh, shalom to y'all. Yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute, Dermot. So, how do you make money work for you and you not working for it? So, right there, I just gave you a big hint um, to uh, girls, come out of the street. A car is coming. No, that's not her. That's not your mother. That's somebody with a similar vein. Okay, so how do you make your money work for you? How do you do that? Okay, so let me give you a scenario, and then I'll break it all the way down. Um, I'll just go right into it. Okay, it looks like the video. It looked like my video was skipping. So there's and a lot of y'all might have heard of this guy before. His name is Robert Kiyosaki. The way he breaks it down is he calls it the cash flow quadrant. You got four quadrants, okay? The first quadrant is the worker. That's the worst one to be in, okay? The worker works for his money. So an hour of his time equals an hour of pay, okay? And then a similar one to that is the self-employed person. This is where a lot of brothers and sisters who have businesses, this is where they're at, okay? And they're self-employed. And all that means is you still work for your money, but you own the job, okay? And these people are typically more overworked than the is exactly Dwayne. Yep, that's what I'm getting to. So these people are typically more overworked than anyone. Are the self-employed people. They because for instance the example Kiyosaki gave was, okay, the self-employed person, say he owns a bakery. Well, he's the baker, so he bakes the cakes, he works the cash register, he does the accounting, he does the marketing, he does everything. So he's self-employed. Okay. Now here is where the magic comes in. At is the next quadrant is the business owner. The thing that differentiates the business owner from the self-employed person is the business owner owns a business. The self-employed person owns a job. I'm going to break it down now. So the business owner, instead of being the baker, he hires somebody to cook the food, to be the baker. Instead of being the cashier, he hires a cashier. Instead of being the accountant, he hires somebody to keep the books. Okay? Instead of doing the marketing, he goes to a marketing firm. What's the difference? Is instead of, he's not pulling in as much money as that self-employed person. Okay, as a person who's self-employed, um, he's not pulling as much money in up front, but in the long term, say that business owner, say he wants to go to Vegas and go on a vacation out in Vegas. He could just go on out there. He could just head on out and the business runs on its own. So where the self-employed person can work max 12 hours or 14 hours every day and get a little bit of sleep. Hold on one sec. What's up? Yeah. So the max that self-employed person could work is the max amount of energy he can have. Well, the business owner, since he has, like Dwayne put in there, since he has systems in place to run. Samantha, get out of the street. So since the business owner has systems in place that run the business on its own without him being there, he's created an engine that generates cash, generates money on its own. So hence what I was saying earlier, your money is working for itself. You take the money and make the money make money for you. Okay? All right, the UPS guy's here with my tripod, so y'all stand by. This is one of the drawbacks to being outside. You know what I'm saying? How you doing, man? I'm doing good. I got to sign it.
Nah, you good.
Oh, okay.
All right. Nice corner lot back.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. All right. So the business owner, the business generates the money. So what the catch is, and what everybody gets hung up on, is they have to fight themselves from trying to do everything themselves. Okay? And it's because it's what's brainwashed and instilled in you in school, in this society. You know what I'm saying? When let's take the baker. So the baker is making 1,000. Let's say he's making 1,000 a week at the bakery company. Well, if you step in and run it, hey, shalom, Sister Tammy, shalom. Yeah, I'm doing your presentation. That's right. So the baker, say he makes 1,000 a month as a self-employed person. He's not thinking, hey, how could I make this money work for me? But a person who's business owner, who has a business owner mindset, what he's gonna do is he's gonna take some of that money and make that money work for him. So he's gonna take $500 out of that thousand he makes, or $400 out of that thousand he's making every week. He's gonna take $400 out of that, and with 100 of it, he's gonna pay the cashier. With another 100 or 200, he's gonna pay the baker. The rest he's gonna put into marketing. You see what I'm saying? So he's gonna use that money to begin to generate money. And now that business can run on its own, and then he could do what? Maybe move on and open another one. So now he's making $1,000 and he's not using any of his time to do it. So let's, so Dwayne put in there, he said, people think small. The bigger the vision, the more help you will need. Have to learn how to scale. Exactly. So now, that once he has that thing up and running on its own, and now he's bringing home 500 a week. Well, now he could take it and open another one. Okay, so now he has two bakeries and he's making 1,000, and he's not working 14 hours a day trying to run it himself. It's running on its own, and that's just a rough model of what I'm talking about. But let me give you a better example, a more realistic one that I see all the time. A lot of people like to flip houses. Okay? So, hey, shalom, Brother Marcus. Hey, shalom, Tone. I see you in there, man. Hey, Tone, me and you talked about this. You know, my man Tone, me and him studied this. He studied this. He's going to be implementing it too. But anyway, so let's take the guy who has and this is what I see all the time, because I actually do real estate investing. I'll briefly go into that. So with most people, when you say investing, Samantha, quiet down. So most people, Madison, watch out for that truck. So most people, when you talk about investing in real estate, most people flip, buy a house, fix it up, sell it. Okay, that's the typical way, the typical process you see. So, and what ends up happening, you're only as good as your last flip. Okay? Then after you factor in taxes you have to pay and all that stuff. So for each house you flip, and then you collect the money off it and sell it and collect the profit, that's as good as you are. Hey, how you doing, man? So you're only as good as your last flip. Madison, the car's coming. So you're only as good as your last flip. So the proper way to run a business where you're flipping houses is like this guy I've worked with at when I was in the Air National Guard. And the way he ran it is he had a real estate agent who would find the deals for him. He had a financing company, of course, who would finance it. He had a team of contractors who would fix the house up. He had a head contractor who would oversee it all. You see what I'm saying? So basically, if he wanted to go on a vacation to England, the thing would be running on its own. And what he'd do, he'd flip 3 houses a month. You know what I'm saying? Or not 3, 2 houses a month. And what it's about is building a good team. So that's how that looks. So okay. So the way most brothers do detailing is, they clean a car, boom, they go over here, they clean a car, they go over here, they clean a car. Well, if he wanted to turn that into a business, he'd pay a brother good money. he'd hire somebody else to source the cars and do the marketing and bring in the work, and you set it up so the business runs on its own. So literally, to make money work for you, what you're literally doing is building an engine or a system, like Dwayne said earlier. You're building a system that runs on its own, and it only requires a little bit of fuel from you. So every now and then you pour some gas in, you overlook everything, make sure it's being ran right. Now, what I do, and like Dwayne said earlier, is about passive income. So the way I run what I do, I wanted a business that was as passive as it could be, and the but yet cash flow. And that's something I left out, is cash flow. Cash flow is king, and that's what we're talking about. And what cash flow is the money that's left over after you pay all your expenses and stuff that the business makes. So literally, if your cash flow exceeds all your expenses in life, you're rich. You don't have to work anymore. You don't have to go and give a hour of your time for a set amount of money. The system that you put in place is running on its own, and it's just spitting money out on its own, and it doesn't involve your time anymore. And that's where, the so-called magic happens. You know what I'm saying? Because now you don't have to work for your money. Your money's working for you. And the problem with our people is we're not shown this, and we come from broken families. We don't know this stuff. And this once this mindset is ingrained in you, you begin to look at money a different way. When you get the $800 check, or whatever you get, $400, you're not like, oh man, I could buy this and I could buy that. No, you're like, I could put this into my money engine, and it can generate cash flow for me. I can make this money work for you. So that's don't touch that. Come here. Yeah, so that is, you know, that is how the process works. Is you build a system that generates money on its own, and then you don't have to work for it. So I'm gonna show you what I do, how I make my money work for me, and I'm gonna show you the slight difference of how I do it and how some people do it, and they end up being self-employed as opposed to business owners. What I do is and I'm telling you the basic, but I'm gonna go more in depth in later in this series. But what I do is I buy a house that needs repair. I fix it up. In fixing the house up, it builds equity in it. Then I put it up for rent. I move a tenant in it. The tenant moves in. They pay for the mortgage, and then what's left over is my cash flow. Okay. Um, so I'm gonna give you an example. Say the mortgage on the house is 500. Well, let's say I buy a house for 50,000. I fix it up. Now it's worth 100,000. I put a tenant into the house. Okay, so the tenant moves into the house. The mortgage on the house, let's say the mortgage on the house is $500. The tenant pays $800. Okay, I collect $300 every month, and the tenant pays the mortgage. Now here's the key, and this is where everybody messes up. I use a property manager. So instead of me collecting that 300 or whatever I said it was, I pay $100 to the property manager to manage the property. Now that thing is completely running on its own. Okay, and I collect 200 a month. On top of that, now that the house is worth 100,000, I could do what you call a cash out refi. I could pull that $50,000 back out, take that $50,000 and use it to buy another house. Rinse and repeat. Keep doing it over and over again. Eventually, you have 12 houses. And I'm just going through this real fast. I'm not telling you all the details, but eventually you'll have 12 houses. You sell all those houses and you buy an apartment complex. And it's an economy of scale. And what ends up happening when you buy an apartment complex, you're doing the same thing, but it's even more, it generates even more cash flow because of there's more units. But like I said, I'm going to go into that in a later episode. Yeah, exactly. So Sister Michelle, she's talking about what I was telling y'all earlier about Robert Kiyosaki. Y'all should, and I'm going to give y'all some books or audio books that y'all should check out to see, get your mind aligned with this so that you understand exactly where I'm coming from. But the book is called The Cash Flow Quadrant, and by Robert Kiyosaki, and I'm gonna give y'all some other things y'all can study. But one of the big differences is I see a lot of people when they own rental properties, and right now I own a couple of them. I own like let's see, 4 of them right now. If I didn't, the difference, a lot of people, the difference between real estate property, rental property being passive or not being passive, there's a difference. And the key difference is getting a property manager. A lot of people don't want to spend the extra $80 or $90 on each property having a property manager. So now they're the landlord. And now, and I was actually a member of a investment club that was here in Jacksonville, and I got out of it because 95% of what they talked about was tenant landlord problems. That was the majority. Madison, that was the majority of what they talked about. Don't ride over that grass again, okay? So yeah, that was the majority of what they talked about was landlord-tenant issues. When you have a landlord, now you have access to. Okay, let me tell y'all this: if you mess up with one step in the eviction process, now Florida is a tenant-friendly state. You know what I'm saying? Exactly, rich dad, poor dad. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's what I actually do that. So, if you mess up with one step in the eviction process, even though Florida is a landlord-friendly state, it could be a hot mess for you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So 30 a month. Okay, what I learned from. Okay, so yeah, I'm glad you put that in there. Average one. Let me talk about what he just put in there. I'm going to show you some heavy stuff on that. You said 30 a month in a 401k. That's what I learned from an old head. Man, that's dope. Never thought about the game plan. Oh, okay. So let me tell y'all what happened with me, what I did. I knew I wanted to invest. Well, what I did is I started investing in the stock market, okay? And I did good at it. And I made a good chunk of money. But after studying money, what I realized is when you have 401k, stocks, and all that, your money is tied up in that. That money's not really working for you. You're only as good as the money that's in there. It's not doing anything for you. It's just sitting up in there. And you're still having to go to work. But now when you pull that money out and put it into something that's generating monthly income for you, again, that's where the magic happens. Okay? So, for instance, let's take a man, he got $1 million in a 401k or in stock. That money's sitting in there. If the market crashes, that million goes down to, let's say, you know, 500,000. Okay? And then let's say the market does good. It goes up to 800,000. Okay, now he retires. Cuz he leaves it in there till he retires. He pulls that $800 out of there, 800,000 out of there. How long he has to be careful because he has to budget himself because he can only live off that money for so long, and hopefully it lasts. Factor in inflation and all that. Get out of the street, a car's coming. So let's go with the guy. Samantha, don't ride over that grass. So let's fast forward to the guy who owns rental property. As long every month he gets his cash flow. If he has 10 properties, he's getting 15 or whatever amount a month every month, no matter what. Let's say a tenant moves out of one of the properties. Well, you got 4 other properties or 5 other properties. You see what I'm saying? So the money's always coming in. Um, if he wants to sell the rental properties, which I wouldn't recommend, but then boom, you could sell them and cash it in and maybe buy a whole, invest it in something else. I would recommend that. But if you're just gonna cash them in and spend the money, that wouldn't be smart. So that's how. So somebody said, I invest in stocks, the market crashed, and I lost money. Exactly. Let me tell you, when the market crashes and you have rental properties, when you could look at rental. A matter of fact, when the market crashed last time, rental rates did not go down because more people ended up renting. It's not going to affect your cash flow in any way. The value of your property might go down, but then you just wait till the market comes back. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is it's recession proof. Okay? It's a recession proof investment. Looks like I'm hanging up over there on Facebook, I guess. Let me check. Let me see. I think I'm hanging up on Facebook over here. I'm gonna just make sure. No, I'm not hanging up. It's just my connection. So it's a recession proof investment. It's and like a lot of people know what I'm talking about because they know I'm talking about a lot of teachings of Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and all that. And one of the things he points out is everybody, all the rich and ultra elite and all that, own real estate. It's the key. Like everybody, Warren Buffett, you name them, everybody got their money tied up in real estate in some way because they know it's the ultimate, most lucrative, most all-around good investment for your money. Okay? You'd be hard pressed to find anything better, and it's passive, and you're really good to go in any way. Okay, man. Okay, good. I'm glad y'all hooking up there. So, some sisters in Michigan just ran into each other. That's good. I'm glad y'all linking up, man. That's one of the main focuses of spiritual combat is to get people to link up, and I'm definitely leaning on some people to come out. Sisters getting ready to come out with this with a database for that, so that brothers and sisters could start linking up. So another sister said, I learned to trade forex, and it is very liquid. Yeah, but can you count on that for your monthly income? Okay? You're only as good as your last trade. It doesn't cash flow. You see what I'm saying? All those investment things that are out there, cash flow is the key to everything. Cash flow is a steady monthly income from something. For instance, the cash flow from the rental property is the tenant pays the rent. After I pay my mortgage and uh, my property manager and my fees or whatever, that money that's left over is my cash flow. And it's hold on one sec. Come out of the street. And like I said, that cash flow is consistent. It's consistent, steady stream of money that comes in every time. And on top of that, I have an asset that appreciates in value. Currencies go up and down in all types of ways based on geoeconomics and all types of other factors. When you look at the over the long term, the appreciation rate of real estate, it consistently goes up, and like I said, the numbers prove that. So that's why I don't really push that. The strategy is to invest in everything. Exactly. What the sister said is the strategy is to get more money to invest in everything else. So and let me go into that. Okay. So what Robert Kiyosaki says to do is, okay, you get a bunch of real estate, then you invest in stocks and businesses. But from my studying, what I found is even better to do is get 12 houses, sell them all, then you get a huge multi-unit apartment complex. Okay? So now instead of so now instead of making uh a couple thousand every month, now you're making 1 million every month. Okay? And then you and that's predictable. I mean, are people gonna need a place to stay? Are populations growing? Are people moving into apartments? You see what I'm saying? So it's about having that consistency. The forex in an economic crash, you could lose your ass. I just gotta say it like that. In an economic crash, if you have an apartment complex, you're probably gonna get even more people moving in there because they're gonna be losing their houses. So I'm talking about something that's recession proof, that's reliable, that's passive, that doesn't require you doing research all the time, and something that's consistent. Okay, not you. You understand what I'm saying? And I look. I know I'm just talking real fast, but y'all do not understand the level of studying I did in all this because I successfully invested in the stock market, but I realized how solid real estate is. Like the rental properties, there's a better chance of me losing my job than the real estate property letting me down. And I know that on a deep level. I mean, I know there's a better chance of me getting fired, me having a mistake on my job and losing my job than my real estate not producing income for me. The Forex and stock markets and all that stuff, uh, the chances of that letting you down are very high. You know what I'm saying? Are very high. And we can go into all the uh, we can go into all the factors that go into that being able to generate wealth, and then on top of that, it doesn't cash flow for you. It's capital appreciation, but it doesn't cash flow. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's you know, um, yeah, exactly. So And then that's the other thing. Like I said, I'm gonna do a whole lesson on the real estate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but like I said, I'm gonna go more. I'm gonna get more in depth about in the next How Money Works series or lesson. Uh, come out, stay in the circle, Master. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go in heavier on that, on exactly how it works and on exactly why it's so solid, and and then also I'm gonna go in on a lot of these other investments. I'm gonna go in on a lot of these other investments and why they aren't, you know, why it's not the way to go. And then I can show you people who invest in stock on the business side, okay, and not in the self-employed side. So where you got one person who invests in stock and they okay, so say so. All right, Vicky, I'm gonna address that, but real fast. There's people who have stock or invest in these markets, and they got it set up as a business. They have research analysts. They got systems set up to where they it's ran like a business, and it doesn't involve their time and all that, and it makes money. So, Sister Vicky, so if I had 10,000, what would I do? It depends. It depends on what your situation is. Okay. Um, that's good. That's good. Let me see. 10,000. How would I do that? It really depends. Okay. Um, it depends on your. There's plenty of options. It depends on your financial situation. So, do you on your credit, or are you married? This, that, and other. If I was single and I had 10,000, I'd buy a house, move in it, fix it up, and rent it out. Then buy another house, move in it, fix it up, and rent it out. Okay. So, okay. So that's how I would do that. There's so many. Yeah, there's so many ways you could buy a cheap rental property. You know, um, and turn that into a rental. There's a bunch of you have a ton of options. Um, so it's like, but yeah, what I would do is find that what I do is go to a brokerage firm and and like I said, when I do the lesson on how I invest, we'll go more into it. But what you would want to find is a real estate wholesaler, and you'd also want to find a mortgage brokerage, a real estate finance brokerage, and talk to them to see what they could do to get you into something, you know. But like I said, I'm gonna do uh, part two of this series. Is gonna be about the real estate and how I do that. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, you know that's that's what you want to do. You want to find a way to make it that work for you. Um, yeah, that's but that's a good question. But yeah, but to give you a simple answer for your question, you want to find a way to take that money and invest it in real estate. That's what you want to do. Okay, invest it in a rental property. Okay, that's what you want to do. And like I said, when I do part two of this, and we get into how to do that real estate, then we'll go all into that. Um, and and Majors, he had a good lesson today. I be laughing the way he be going in on it too, man. But he had a good lesson about being smart and making smart decisions with your money, and just and learning from your mistakes is something. I Yeah, I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm beginning to get myself together because I made a bunch of mistakes. And that's why I'm gonna do this series on investing in real estate, because I screwed up so much. I mean, just a bunch of mistakes. Failing my way. Failing my way forward. And that's Sister Koi in there, and she's very business minded too. She's very busy too. That woman stay busy. She Sister Koi spent 12 was it she spent 12 hours working on her business, getting it right, because she about to take what she do and make it passive. So it's about that work ethic. But I want to kind of hit on some of the stuff Majors was talking about, is humility. Okay, having humility and realizing when you're stupid. Because I was very stupid with a lot of stuff I did, and I was ignoring my weak areas. Staying on top of certain things. And then when I began to be humble and realize, look, you don't stay on top of certain things. You're weak in this area. Boom, 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 boom. And began to be honest with myself. Then that's when my stuff started to come together. So, realizing where some of my weak areas were at. See, this is a huge one. This is going to be a whole part of this series. Hold on one sec. Madison, Samantha, stay in the driveway. So yeah, so a huge part is emotions. And that I'm glad I'm hitting on this, is you got to pull emotions out. And when I say you got to pull emotions out, even I find myself, when I'm looking at rental properties and working on trying to get new rental properties, and I look at something and I find myself getting emotional and not sticking to my standards. Okay, so that's a big part of it. Okay, let me all right, there we go. So yeah, so that's a big part of it. So yeah, exactly. We need cash flow, and sometimes the your the first step, the first thing you have to do is, number one, you got to kind of figure out what type of property do you need to get. And again, I'm gonna cover that in part two, where I go into what properties to look for residential single family home real estate investment, specifically what type of property you're looking for. And then the second thing you need to do is figure out what the financial requirements are. So again, you gotta get with the financial firm, the brokerage, and they might say, okay, to get what you want, you're gonna need 15,000. So now you need to come up with a way to save up to that amount. Now, let me tell you this also. You don't say you Joe Blow out there, and all you got is your job, and you don't have 10,000. There's ways around that. Okay, but what I'm gonna tell you is, there's a whole, emotionally you have to be right. You have to really understand all this stuff before you really start getting into it. You don't want to just jump into this and not understand all the different aspects. You know, and there's a lot of moving parts to it. To the point where, for you to do your first deal, and let me yeah, well, I'll finish this. For you to do your first deal might take you 6, 7, 8 months. Your second deal might take 2 months. After that, you'll be able to do these deals within less than a month. To where, because what'll happen, you're going to build a team to where you have a real estate agent. Hey, Mike, we got this house. It fits what you want. Okay. Boom. You call your financing company. They forward the money over to the real estate to the wholesaler who has a property. Wholesaler calls it. You call your property manager. They list the property for rent, and it's just literally a couple phone calls on your break at work, and you have a new property being fixed up, tenant in there, all that stuff like that. Okay, but yeah, that is how this thing works, and it's real, man. It's the real deal. I'll tell you what happened with me. I was doing this. I was focused on it real hard, and then when I came into the truth, I stopped everything I was doing. I completely stopped everything I was doing. I investing everything came to a screeching halt 5 years ago, man. And only now in the past year have I began to slowly get back into it, you know. Um, but yeah, so and I'll be honest, real talk, I'd I'd been retired by now, you know, because I bought two properties. Okay, that's what I had, and then I came into this truth and I just stopped everything because it was like so amazing and shocking to me and blew my mind. And I wanted to I was trying to figure out what was right and what was wrong, what was a sin and what wasn't. So my whole life came to a halt. And then praise God, I'm where I'm at now, and I'm trying to get back into it. And because of that and other situations, I was under heavy financial strain. You know, heavy financial strain. Um, you know, but you use wisdom. You rely on the Most High. You, I forget the word Majors used in his video. Uh, Delayed gratification. You delay gratification. I praise God. I got a wife who is a hardcore, stone cold trooper. Sister Koya ain't superficial on any level. She don't. It don't. It don't take a bunch of elaborate money spending to keep her happy. If she know the plan, she willing to sacrifice with me, and she has. And you know, now that you know, I'm slowly coming out of the financial hardship I was under. I'ma honor her, you know, for sticking to my side and doing what she's done, you know, because I appreciate her, you know. And I be hard on her because she know I'm hard as heck on her, but I know that she, you know, she one in a billion, you know what I'm saying? Because most women ain't like that, you know what I'm saying? Willing to sacrifice and grind with you like that. So, you know, and that's another big part of this that we're gonna get into how money works is your relationship. That's they said the biggest determining factor of how you will turn out in life financially is the spouse you choose. So that's heavy. That's heavy. So, but yeah, we've ground out of this, and you know we we hadn't been on vacation for years. You know, now we're beginning to go on them and enjoy ourselves, and you know we sacrificed a lot. You know, and it makes it more rewarding when now you can do a little something. Who fell? Sammy fell. I think you need to take a break from the bike riding. The last time they were out there bike riding, Madison fell twice. Now Sammy fell twice. All right, that's enough. Let's put them bikes up. Samantha, get the bike. Let's put it in the garage. That's it. So anyway, but yeah, so I'm gonna do another more comprehensive one tomorrow morning. Not tomorrow morning. The day after tomorrow, because I'm gonna be off, so I'll be able to get in and really be more engaged with y'all on this. Um, uh, Let me see what y'all saying on Facebook. Yeah, and I think my connection's acting up a little. So yeah, we're gonna. Like I said, I'm gonna get into this more. Um, what city? Okay, so um, but yeah, so yeah, we'll definitely. We'll get more engaged with this, and but let me tell you what your homework is. Okay, I got some homework for y'all. Okay, what you need to do is either get the audio book and just listen to it on your way to work and whenever you get time, or actually buy the real book. Get It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. Okay, I know it says Babylon, but and what it's about is just check it out. It so read read that book or listen to the audio book, The Richest Man in Babylon, and then listen to Rich Dad Poor Dad, okay? And then listen to Cash Flow Quadrant. Both of those are by Robert Kiyosaki. And then when I when I do the series in part 2 to this series on Wednesday, it'll take on a whole different light. Like all this, like it'll rewire your whole mindset concerning money. It'll even rewire you emotionally. Come here. What y'all doing? Okay. So with that said, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Um, if y'all got any questions, I need to y'all make sure y'all message me on my spiritual combat page, because I got Sister Koya in there as an admin. She helps me go through all the questions. Try not to message me on the Michael Israel personal page, because I do a lot of setting up the interviews and stuff on that, and it makes it difficult. But anyway, with that said, y'all, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope this was informative to you. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all tuning in. And with that said, shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom, y'all.